Hi, Sheila. This is Jake Theobald. What I wanted to do today was kind of march you through the steps of the transition in the cyanide and electron uh, transport lab that Phil's worked on for us. I've had him make some changes to the code to kind of clear up that transition in the middle of this lab. And what I'm doing here is I'm making a screen recording of that transition. I'm going to post this to YouTube, and I'm going to have you go look at it and see if you think that it's clearer now, how that transition occurs. At this point, you're looking at a screenshot of the Phil's lab. I've already prepped the tubes, put the extract and the dye in, calibrated the spectrophotometer. I'm essentially ready to go, ready to start the clock. I also put in the initial reading in the spectrophotometer for the experimental tube that's already in it is 0.7. Just getting ready to start the clock. When I click the start button, you're going to hear the clock beep, and that's proof that we've restored some of the sound to this laboratory. You will also hear later on in the lab, as I do a few things, when I throw things in the recycle bin, you're going to hear the recycle bin make a sound. So I'm going to start the clock here. And the clock's ticking away. And I'm going to type in, I know that the initial reading is going to be 0.6 something. So I'm going to put that initial few numbers in there. Now I'm just waiting for the 30 seconds to go by and the clock to beep. As soon as it does, we'll type that reading into this table. So I got 0.687. So there's my 687. Hit the tab key. Just continue on with this. What will happen is as soon as I complete entering all the readings into the table, you'll notice down here the instructions say, after about 3 minutes, click the calc button to graph your data. So the after about 3 minutes in the instructions is really saying that when you're done recording data. So 0.675. Type that in. So once the readings are done, I'll hit the calc button and the lab will start to transition into the second phase, and we'll see all that when it happens. Zero 0.663. Sorry, this is kind of the boring part of the lab, but it's important, you know, that the students have enough time to understand exactly what's going on in the lab. So we don't really want to speed up the 30 seconds, but and since the readings are only a few minutes, as a rule, it's 0.65. As a rule, we think it's enough time that the students are actually well served by it. But when I've done the lab a million times and I'm making a video of myself doing the lab, that 30 seconds starts to feel like a really long time to me. Zero 0.637. I want to apologize ahead of time here if I cough a few times during this video. I'm just getting over a cold. I believe I might have even told you that. And so I'm still having a little bit of trouble when I speak. I do tend to cough. 0.622. Zero 0.609. 0. Probably going to get into the 0.5s here as we get to the end of this. 0.597. Okay, so now following the instructions, I'll hit the calc button. You'll notice that these two graphs have popped up and the clock has stopped and the instructions at the bottom have changed. So let's read the instructions. So it says the left graph plots your data and performs linear regression. The rate of color change is given in the equation and is entered in the table in the right graph. If you finish both parts of the lab, which we have not, click the plot button and then click the post-lab quiz and report in the upper menu to display the post-lab quiz. You can click the title bar and drag and drop the window around the screen. So what it's telling me there is that I can move these graphs around by grabbing that title bar. So the instruction we want to follow, though, is otherwise click X in the top right corner of either graph to perform the next part of the lab. So we'll click that X, and the graphs have gone shut. We've got new instructions. You have finished this part of the experiment, so you will recycle the tube. To begin, click the spectrophotometer holder to open it. So open this up, pop out the EXP tube, and it wants me to drag that to the recycle can, and here's where you'll hear the recycle can make it sound. It's a little bit loud here. I've got the speaker up a bit. Now it wants me to, as well, recycle the blank tube. So that's done. So now we got an alert up here. Click yes to perform the second experiment with cyanide, or no to repeat the initial experiment. So we do want to go to cyanide, so we'll click the yes button. And now here we've got the recipe for what we need to do for the rest of the experiment has populated up here in the notebook. And essentially, I've made it through the transition. So I think what you'll see here is that Dr. Stevens has changed the instructions slightly. And as long as you tell your students to make sure they pay attention to the instructions, follow their way through the lab, I think they're going to be okay. So I want to thank you, and you can shoot me an email. I'm obviously going to send you an email with this link in it. You'll watch this. You'll get to this point. If you have additional questions, if you have comments about how this worked, I'd like to hear them. So definitely reply to the email if you have the chance. So thanks.